morning, guys. It's very bright out here this morning. Very, very bright. Oh, struggling to see what I'm doing here. Good morning, Mr. Blueberry. How are we feeling? Are we still tender? Yes, I expect we are. Oh, you look so pitiful, my darling. You look so pitiful. I don't like it, my dude. Blue's a bit tender, bless him. So he had to have a lot of work done on his feet when the farrier come out, and he's basically got no hoof wall in contact with the ground again, so he's walking on his soles, unfortunately. We've been through this before. You can see how uncomfortable he is on the hard ground, look. Oh, poor boy. Come on, come out here on the soft stuff. Blue! Stampy, where are you going? Pony! Oh, I didn't want it to go down there. It's supposed to go this way into the field. Oh, whatever. Come on, Bubba. Come on. Why would you stand on the stony bit? He's such a pillock. I swept those stones up into a pile so that he wouldn't stand on them. And what's he doing? He's standing on the pile of stones. Come on. Oh God, he's really bad this morning. Come on. Come on, the soft stuff. There we go. That's better, isn't it? Yeah? You daft beast. Yeah, as you can see, he's very sore and uncomfortable at the moment. To be honest, I think I'm probably going to give him some butte for the next few days, because it's just, I mean, I'm going to call it what it is. It's shit. What it is, it's shit. Get this open and let him out. Hang on, Blue, I've got one more to do. Hang on! You can't get under there, you're too tall. Oh, God. Right, off you go, Trouble. There you go. Yeah, as you can see, he's a lot more comfortable on this, thankfully. So I left this open last night, so I put his food out in this field on the softer ground. Obviously, because he's a pea brain, he decides to mooch about on the surface that hurts his feet. In a couple of days' time, it has now been, we've made a decision on what's going on with the yard. We're getting a load of sand delivered, so this, in, what was it going to be, 3 days' time from shooting this video, this is going to be covered in sand. It'll be a lot more comfortable for him. So that's one less problem that he's going to have to deal with. At the moment now, we're just trying desperately to regrow hoof. Like I said, he's at a point now where he's just got no hoof wall again, and that's why he's sore. And we've been doing a lot of research onto that, which kind of leads me into what today's waffly rant is going to be about. I'm just going to get some hay for Woodster and Nell. I'm going to take Nelly out for a ride this morning, so I don't want to let her out. And I don't know what I'm going to do with Woodster. If I put him in the field, he's going to put around and hurt himself, so he might have to stay in while we go out for a ride. 1 second, guys. Okay. I'm going to go sit out in the field with Mr. Blueberry while I waffle at you guys, I think. Because it's pretty out there and it's nice and sunny, and you'll get to look at him in the background instead of just being stuck with this. So yes, on the topic of feet, we have been doing a shed load of research over the last, when was it the vet come out? About a week ago. Still not heard back from the vet. We still don't have an official game plan yet. But obviously, because I have somewhat of an obsessive nature, I've been doing a lot of research on my own. To be honest, I really like looking into this kind of thing. Like, I've always had an interest in biology. Going back to school years, like biology and chemistry, I was very much obsessed with, very into. Sadly, because of circumstances and mindsets at the time, I did actually try to do A-levels in all of that, and it didn't work out for various reasons. I was not in the right place with my mentality to do that kind of thing, so I dropped out basically. But yeah, biology, very interested in. I like learning how things work. And so, yeah, this kind of thing, it interests me. It definitely does it for me. And so I do get stuck into these things and I go down weird and wonderful little rabbit holes. So, yes, obviously, we are not in a good place with his feet. So I don't know if I've shown you guys yet, actually. Let me just... So, they're very short, as you can see. There's been some serious tidying up that had to be done. I mean, he almost looks like he's club-footed, really, doesn't he? It's just bloody awful, again. He might have muck in them at the moment. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, see, I've been trying to not overly pick his feet out. I find when he's got a nice mud pad in his feet, it helps him feel a bit more comfortable when he's on that hard surface. But I've got a feeling he might have some stones in there now, so I'll give those a clean out in a little bit, because he was very uncomfortable on that a minute ago, wasn't he? But yes, that's how we're looking. We're very short, we're very nubby. We have no hoof wall particularly. He's walking on his soles. Obviously, we spoke to the vet about what our plan going forward is, because from a hoof care point of view, there's not an awful lot we can do. So we're looking at nutritional options at this point. Going back to what I was saying, I've done a lot of research into this. So something we've landed on in the last few days. I was going to sit out here, but it's kind of wet. I don't want to sit on the wet now. I might go back in and sit in the dog bed. Yeah, so something I've landed on in the last few days, and it's something I've touched upon in some previous research that I've done, is copper. And you know when you have one of those moments where you stumble across a piece of information and it's like a light bulb goes on in your head and you're like, oh my god, that makes sense, that ticks a lot of boxes. So we kind of had that yesterday while researching this whole copper thing. Do you know what, actually, I feel like I could sit here. This is a dry bit. Let's sit in the field and be a strange girl. Yes, definite light bulb moment, definite, like, that ticks a lot of boxes, that makes a lot of sense. So apparently it's very common for horses to have copper deficiencies. Symptoms of copper deficiencies include poor quality hair, a lack of shine in the coat, poor quality and brittle manes and tails. Other issues including a poor quality of hoof, frequent urination. And I was going through this list the other day, like lack of energy, lack of shine, just lack of oomph, you know, lack of everything about them. And I was going through this list of symptoms and I was like, yeah, that's blue, that's blue, that's blue, that's blue, that's also blue. And then it dawned on me that actually sums all of them up this year. So it's something that I've been aware of, but I've not really looked too much into. I don't think I've mentioned it to you guys, but I've noticed over the last 12 months, everybody is lacking in energy. Everybody has a lower hoof quality than what they normally have. And everybody is just lacking that kind of like shine and beautifulness that they usually have. And I was looking at Nellie's hooves yesterday thinking, do you know what? She has got a mild version of what Blue has on his hooves. So Blue, I don't know if you saw it in a clip a second ago, he has this like this flaking effect on his hoof wall, and he has a lot of vertical ridges, one of his many problems with his feet. And you know, I've noticed Nellie has got some flaking to her hoof wall this year, and they look dull and crappy and not their best. Woodsters are not quite so bad, but again, his are not as good as they normally look. And even Stumpy, right? We have never had hoof problems with that Shetland pony, ever. This year, I've noticed she's starting to get stones stuck in her white line. She's never had that before, ever. And she's got a little bit of this, like, this flaking and this not quite nice appearance to her outer hoof wall. And all of these things, from the research that I've done, again, this is something that I'm still looking into, but so far it's ticking a lot of boxes. All of these things are pointing to a lack of copper in their diet. Again, apparently this is a very common issue. It's something that is commonly deficient in pasture, in grazing, and in forage. It's something that's not heavily supplemented in horse feeds. And so apparently it is quite a problem. And I've been snooping around on lots of forums. Horse and Hound have fantastic forums. If anybody wants to look up like real life incidents of things that they're experiencing, there's some really, really good chat forums on there where people share their experiences and what they've tried and what's worked and what hasn't worked. And I found probably half a dozen last night that I read all the way through. There were really long conversations. And I'm thinking, oh my God, this is exactly what we've got going on. I mean, one forum that I read was talking about how the horse had a lack of shine to their coat. Their mane and tail was falling out and it was brittle. They kept getting stones stuck in their white lines, and the hoof quality was just shocking. And another thing that was interesting, on one of these posts, they mentioned orange secretions coming from the eyes. Blue, for as long as I can remember, has had these weird orange secretions from his eyes and from his diddler. And like all of these things, I was thinking, oh, this is like ticking all of the boxes of the problems that we're having. And so I've been doing some research into it, been looking into what we're feeding them and whether or not this could actually be a problem. Obviously, the best thing to do would be to get testing done. We're still waiting to hear back from our vet on what she thinks is the best thing to do. We did discuss copper, so that might come back. But in the meantime, what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at overhauling our feed. So we have been feeding for the last sort of 12 months or so, since Derp over there had his laminitic episode last year. We have been quite hardcore on a really low sugar, basic, very, very lammy friendly diet. So he's always had trouble with being a chunky boy. Nelly has always had trouble with obesity. Woodster's always been the opposite end of the spectrum. And Stumpy, to be fair, we've always struggled with her weight as well. Partly because she's so small and she eats like a big horse. But we've always had to be mindful of managing weight in our horses. And so when that happened to Blue last year, we were like, right, we mean business now. We need to get them on a seriously calorie controlled, low sugar, zero sugar diet, because we don't want this happening again. Like, it really scared us. We've never had laminitis in a horse before, and that really scared us. And so we cut a lot of things out of their diet. They've gone pretty much grain free. They don't get anything with molasses on. They don't get anything with sugar on. They don't get anything that's like overly fatty, overly calorific. It's really, really basic. And I'm wondering if that's the reason that we're seeing all of these negative changes in them, because they're lacking something. And interestingly enough, again, this was another little light bulb moment. I'm researching what feeds commonly have copper in them that your horses have access to, like without intentionally supplementing it. And some of the things that were coming up high on the list are your beans, your grains, your legumes, molasses, linseed, soya. Well, that's all things that we've been avoiding because we've trying to be going super low calorie, super lammy friendly. And it's all like making sense. We've taken all of this stuff out of the diet. Obviously, those three are starting to show signs of being deficient in something. And I think in Blue's case, obviously, this isn't the only problem. Like, obviously, he's got other problems going on. But I think it's definitely... The sun's in my eyes. Go away. I think has definitely played into it. Because Mum keeps saying, like, she was looking back over videos of him for a couple of years ago, and he looked so shiny and so well and so just bright and good. And he looks so flipping dull now. Like, everything about him is dull in appearance and personality. And honestly, I could say the same for all of them. They are all dull and lacking. And I'm thinking, well, have we gone too extremist here? I mean, it was done with the best intentions. It honestly was. And I think most people do things out of the best intentions. But I think we've gone too far the other way. Like, we can't get top line on Nelly. We really can. I've done so much work with her under saddle in hand, and she just will not put top line on. And the only thing that can be stopping her from putting top line on is her diet at this point. And yes, I know she's an older horse, she's 16, she is technically classed as a veteran, but it shouldn't be this hard to put muscle on a horse of her age, especially given her history of being such a good doer and so easy to put muscle on. It just doesn't add up. So I think, honestly, I think we've screwed the pooch a little bit here. I think we've gone too extremist with our diet. So we're going to be having a feed room overhaul over the next couple of weeks. Obviously, we're still waiting to hear back from our vet on that issue behind me there, that one down there. We're still going to be looking into stuff with him. But yeah, I think we're lacking in copper. And it's interesting how it all interacts as well. So according to the research I've done, again, I'm still learning about this, copper deficiencies can show up, one, because you don't have enough copper in the diet that you're providing your horses. It can also show up because you don't have a correct copper to zinc ratio. You have to have like a 1:3 or 1:4 ratio of copper to zinc in order for the horses to be able to absorb it correctly, because the two can outcompete each other in the horse's digestive system. And the same issue can arise with iron. So if what you're feeding your horses has an excess of iron, and apparently iron is very readily available in the horse's diet, You don't tend to see it supplemented at all because there's always an excess of it. Apparently iron deficiency in horses is very, very rare because there is such an abundance of it in what they are fed. And when there is an excess of iron, that can also hinder the horse's ability to absorb the copper and the zinc that they need in order to produce the hoof and the hair quality. So the copper is used, it's to do with connective tissues. The horse uses it to help produce connective tissues in their body. And that again ticks a big box for Blue. It's like the issues in his hoof. Obviously we've got a quality issue with the quality of the horn that's coming down, but he has a massive connective issue in his hoof capsule. And I'm thinking, oh God, well that ticks another box. That's another problem we have. And everything's just kind of like pointing towards this now. So yeah, like I said, we're going to be looking into our feed. Definitely need to go back to the drawing board. We need to amend everybody's diets. I want to put Woodster back on a conditioning cube or conditioning mix anyway. Like, he's looking pretty good, but I want a bit more energy in him. Nelly definitely needs some sort of conditioning mix because I want that top line back on her. It's like we've tried all the exercise in the world and it's not happening. So she needs better food. That's a given. We've already agreed on that one. And yeah, Blue, I feel like Blue's going to need some additional supplementation to get the correct nutrient balance in him. Obviously, he's already on Farrier's formula, which does help. There is a double strength Farrier's formula. It's very expensive. I mean, Farrier's formula isn't cheap anyway, but it's very, very expensive. But also there are like other supplements I found that can give him that correct copper zinc balance that he needs to help him fix whatever's going on with him. Not saying that that's going to be the be all and end all of his problems, but based on the research I've done so far, I think with all of the symptoms that he has and all of the problems that we have with him, I think there's a fairly strong indication that this is a problem that we need to fix. So yeah, I've been looking into some like additional copper supplementation for him. You can get syringes even. I found a company that does copper zinc syringes. You can administer them via the advice of your vet, or you can administer them just as like a routine kind of thing. They recommend you give like no more than 2 syringes per year, and that can help balance them out. So I'm looking into that. They were quite inexpensive. But yeah, it's been an eye-opening couple of days, and it's one of those things, like, I feel like we've known for a long time that the nutrition's been off, especially with him, hence we've had him on the supplement that we've had him on, the Farrier's formula. But like, deeper knowledge and understanding, I think, is required to fully know what's going on with him. And obviously that's something we're going to look into like properly and in more depth with our vet. But yeah, it's just like, it was just a light bulb moment. It really was a light bulb moment for us. And that makes sense as well, because when you think about it, what do all the show horse trainers feed their horses? They give them copious amounts of linseed, micronized linseed or linseed oil, because it helps them create a beautiful, luscious coat. And I'm thinking, well, yeah, that sounds right, because that has copper in it. Obviously, it's got your omega oils in it as well, which are going to help with that. But yeah, that's giving them copper, which is necessary for coat and hoof health and general brightness and wellness. It's like, just, yeah. I've had probably about 2 days solid of just obsessive researching. But I don't know, you know, when you come across something and you just feel like the penny's dropped and it makes sense and you feel like you have kind of like a way forward now. I feel like that with this information. Like, with this information that I have now, I'm like, okay, yeah, I see that. That adds up. Now we can actually figure out a way forward with this. And at the end of the day, we can, like, listen, we're still waiting for information back from our vet on what she thinks is the best thing to do here. But this is something that we can do ourselves. Hang on a sec. Oh, Blue's trotting around now. That's interesting. Baloo! Baloo! Oh, he was trotting then. Let's see how he looks trotting. See, he's not too bad. Yeah, he's not too bad, like, soundness wise. I'm not panicking too much. I'm confident that the reason he's sore is because he's just walking on his soles. Let's face it, if he had anything more sinister going on, he would not be trotting around in the field like that. Oh, Stumpy, have you had enough of the drama, babe? Babe! She's like, no, I'm too old for this shit. I'm coming over here where there's peace and quiet. Oh, sweetie. Oh, anyway, yes, that's where we're at. Like I said, this is something that we're going to look into making changes, because I'm confident that this is an issue with the entire group. Confident this is an issue with the way that we're feeding and what we're feeding. So yeah, we're going to be going to our feed store later today, and we're going to be those people that go in and read every single bag of feed. We're going to be turning it over, reading the nutritional stats on everything, vitamins, minerals, the ratios of vitamins and minerals that are in all of these feeds. We're basically going to be going to the feed shop and nerding out in there, and I'm really looking forward to it. Actually, I'm excited. I'm excited because it's like, okay, we have a potential solution to this problem now. Again, not saying it's going to fix all of Blue's problems, but I'm confident that it's going to help him, and I'm confident that it's definitely going to help the others. Look at wee Stumps here. Oh, I need to zoom back out. Like, look at her coat. I know she's in coat change at the moment, but I have never seen her coat to be so dull and brittle looking. She looks a mess, and they all do. So, anyway, I feel like I'm going in circles now. I'm overexcited. This is why I'm going in circles and I'm waffling. So, yes, I'm going to go do more research. We're going to implement this, and then I will let you guys know. Anyway, yes, I will let you know how we get on with this. Apparently changes can be seen quite soon. I've read on forums that people have seen changes in as little as a month, from obviously amending the diet to balance it out better nutritionally. So yeah, I'll let you guys know in a month or two's time how we're getting on with this, and fingers crossed, it might be a step in the right direction.